Hey Grande Live! Welcome to your weekly Newsish Roundup. I'm Will and
I'm Ned.
And we are here to bring you the news for this week. Alex, what are the highlights that we got going on this week?
Well, a candidate for governor with the initials KB stopped into our studio to talk to Mr. Will Bowman. Union County Sheriff has taken a position on an immigration-related ballot measure, and Cycle Oregon is coming to town faster than you think.
3 stories coming at you faster than the speed of a fast cyclist in spandex. Only on your weekly Newsish Roundup, brought to you by our sponsors.
State Representative Knute Buehler stopped in the studio this week to talk about his life with Mr. Bowman.
Yes, it was very cool.
Mr. KB is running against Governor KB, that is Mrs. Kate Brown. Dr. Buehler was born in Roseburg, Oregon, got his degree at Oregon State University while playing baseball. Go Beavs. And after medical school, he raised his family, built medical practices, and grew businesses in Bend.
He was in Bend for 25 years. He ultimately decided to be a doctor, he said, because of seeing just how much health affected his father while he was growing up.
When I was 12 years of age, my father had a big stroke, a stroke so severe that he lost use of his left arm and left leg. And I saw how profoundly important his medical care was, and not just the doctors, but the nurses and the therapists and the occupational therapist, and not only helping him recover, but also the whole family. And I really wanted to be part of something like that, combined with my love of math and science and overall problem solving. So it was really just a natural fit for me in so many ways.
Now, like my compatriot mentioned earlier, he is running as a Republican. However, he says that he rejects many of the binary labels that we put on our politicians.
I think we find the best solution to all problems when we take as many diverse opinions as possible and listen to learn from lots of different people and then construct the best solution set from that. And I personally reject a lot of these narrow political labels that increasingly divide us and actually define less and less of us all the time. They just don't work. People are too complex. I'm certainly not a typical, I don't fit any of those typical labels very well. And when I'm looking to solve problems, I don't want to come from a certain perspective. I do similar to when I'm helping people in my medical practice. If you came to me, Will, I wouldn't ask if you're a independent, a Democrat or a Republican. I would sit down with you and tell me your problem, and I'd listen. I would gather all the data, get other people to help if necessary, and then roll up my sleeve and fix your problem. And that's the kind of approach I've taken in the legislature, and that's the kind of governor I'll be. I'll be an independent-minded governor for everyone in Oregon, no matter who you are, or where you live, who you happen to love, or even how you're registered to vote.
Now, I asked Knute, essentially, what's in it for us, Eastern Oregon? What are we going to get? And essentially, is he going to pay attention to us if he ultimately gets elected for office? And what he said to me was that he believes that the rural-urban divide is largely an illusion, and this is what he meant.
Look, well, this divide between urban and rural Oregon is artificial. It's not part of our fixed landscape. It's not a mountain or a lake. It's something that's been created by decades of policy and really a lack of leadership in bringing urban and rural Oregon together. And being someone from rural Oregon, I grew up in Douglas County, I've seen the profound impact of that in our rural areas, and it's something that we have to close that gap for the good of all Oregon, for the good of not only rural Oregon, but urban Oregon. The achievement and opportunity gap we see between those two Oregons, we should not tolerate as a state. And I'm focused, I'll be that leader for all of Oregon, but particularly I'll be a voice and champion for rural Oregon, for many of those small communities that have been left behind, that they've been forgotten, and they've struggled way too long with unemployment, poverty, and addiction, which has caused way too much pain and suffering. And I'm actually very optimistic about rural Oregon. I know that might not be the majority opinion, and I'm so optimistic about rural Oregon because the world needs a lot of the products that rural Oregon can provide. The world certainly needs high quality, safe food, and there's nowhere, anywhere in the world better able to provide it than our food industry, our ranchers, our fishermen, our farmers, or for that matter, our brewers and winemakers, and certainly the the world needs innovative new wood products, and there's nowhere anywhere in the world that are able to provide that than Oregon's mills and mill workers. And I'd even say the world needs clean, renewable, affordable energy. And again, there's nowhere better able to produce that than rural Oregon right now. So I'm actually very, very optimistic about rural Oregon. We just need a governor who cares about rural Oregon and a governor who will lead for all of Oregon.
If Knute was elected, he said he would represent all parts of Oregon as a strong leader, bringing us into a new era where education and tolerance are two things which would be highlighted by his candidacy. The full interview is available on the Grande Live's Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. And check it out if you're interested in knowing more about your Republican candidate for Oregon State Governor. This story was brought to you by Union County Sheriff Boyd Rasmussen has endorsed a letter sent by a group of sheriffs related to ballot measure 105, which essentially would repeal Oregon's 30-year-old sanctuary state law. So Alex, what are some of the specifics on what this means?
Well, ORS 181.850 has been state law since 1987. Basically what it says is that a state or local law enforcement official can't arrest somebody specifically and only because they're suspected of being an undocumented immigrant in this country. But Sheriff Rasmussen said that this law brings some problems for local government agencies. He says that being squeezed between state and federal law is uncomfortable as an Oregon sheriff. The federal government has put local governments across the country on notice that failure to communicate the presence of undocumented immigrants in their jail could result in the suspension of federal aid going to local governments.
Now, not all sheriffs agreed to sign this letter. Baker County Sheriff Travis Ash told the Baker City Herald that he was uncomfortable with alluding to recent high-profile murders of an Iowa college student, which were referenced in the letter that was signed by Sheriff Rasmussen. Travis Ash said, "I didn't agree with using Molly Tippett's family personal strategy for political purposes, especially without knowing how they felt about it." Sheriff Ash also said that he contacts immigration authorities if an inmate arrested for other charges is suspected of being documented. So essentially what that means is that if someone is in jail, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, a sheriff can report them if they are already in jail for another crime that they have committed.
That's correct.
So a sheriff cannot go to someone and simply ask them, "Are you an undocumented immigrant?" unless it is related to another crime which they may have committed.
Yeah, and I'd like to add both Sheriffs Rasmussen and Ash have sent written statements to the Baker City Herald and the Grande Observer, further talking about why they did or did not sign on to this letter.
So if you're interested in learning more, I know that there's a story in the Observer, and the Grande Live will also follow this ballot measure as it continues on. This story was brought to you by We have a new show here, La Grande Live. The Bob and Kelly Show is coming to the Newsish Roundup, and their first episode is about Cycle Oregon. But before we get to Bob and Kelly, Alex, you've been doing some coordinating for Cycle Oregon. Tell us, what's the scoop on Cycle Oregon? When is it coming? What's going on?
Cycle Oregon is coming to town on September 14th. About 2,000 cyclists and their support teams are coming to the Grande. They're going to stay at Pioneer Park the night of the 14th and leave the morning of the 15th. Local businesses have been encouraged to stay open and hold special deals for the cyclists. We're very thankful that Cock and Bull, Crafted Creations, and HQ have all done something special, among other businesses, for our cyclists. It's going to be really great for them, and it's going to be an amazing time to show off what our town has to offer, because those cyclists come back.
They do. So prepare for Spandex, La Grande Live. And here's another quick update. Speaking of special deals and fun thrills going on with Cycle Oregon, here is Bob and Kelly from the Union County Chamber of Commerce on their first episode of The Bob and Kelly Show.
Hello, La Grande Live. Thanks for taking time to tune in and see this segment of Cycle Oregon, and we've got some exciting things going on. And when I say exciting, I mean exciting. Right, Miss Kelly? This is Kelly. This is Kelly Burley.
Exciting.
Kelly Burley, I'm Bob Kavanaugh with the Chamber of Commerce. We've got some helpers back here, but we're going to get to you guys in just a second. Cycle Oregon is a big deal. Cycle Oregon is an organization where riders, in fact, this year is 2,000 riders are going to be in La Grande and in Union County making the tour throughout the whole county, and we're very excited to have them. With that, there is a lot going on for us so that we can capitalize on making sure that people who come to this area get a great experience, don't you think?
I do.
Okay, so here's what we're doing. It's on the 14th. They will be in La Grande at the park down that way, and I'd say point you that way, but don't go that way yet.
Pioneer Park.
Pioneer Park, and they're going to be hanging out. There's going to be a full tent city down there, stages, bands. Oh my gosh, it's massive. And so what we want to do is make sure that on the 14th, which is Friday evening, when they get in here, all of downtown is open and exciting and food and fun and things going on for them. So we want to let you know about that. Now, on the 15th, when they leave, they're going to be headed through Union. And so in Union, they're going to stop over at the park there as a rest break. And so if you are watching this and you're from Union, we need your help.
Please help us.
Please, we need your help. And here's why. We need people to be down there as guests, to host these guys and say hello. Just give them water, give them whatever we can as far as to get them going and give them, again, that great experience. So that's important. Now, community booth. Let's go to these guys over here. We've got our helpers. Pull that thing nice and tight, you guys. We've got our helpers over here. This is from Mountain Works Bike Shop, one of our best places to buy a bike in town and get it worked on and get everything you need.
And that's where we're at right now.
And that's where we are on location right now. So this is a banner of our community booth. But wait, introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are.
Hey, I'm Don. I'm one of the mechanics here.
I'm Audrey. Just work here.
Don and Audrey, right on. Okay, so we want to give you a little teaser. This is the banner that will be in front of the community booth. The community booth is a massive tent with flags in it. We're going to have games in there, cornhole, pinball, pool, well, maybe not pool, but maybe ping pong. You never know. But a lot of food as well. But we had something interesting happen. We're going to be trying to find some things to give the riders and the support teams and the community. You are invited to come down and enjoy the time there. In fact, last year, it was 3 or 4 years ago when they were here, 3 or 4 years ago,
3 or 4 years.
there were bands playing, people from all over the county came down to play and have fun and dance with the music. But we had a cool thing happen today, and it gave us an idea. Talk about Miss Terry from Fairway Mortgage.
Yep.
What did she do?
She came into our office and said, hey, I just bought, I don't know, XYZ amount cases of goo, cyclist goo.
Love goo.
Do you people know what goo is? She came in and said, I got goo. I went, goo? Apparently it's a big deal with cyclists. So if you have something that you can purchase, that you want to donate, that is relatable to cyclists, something that they may want, please bring it to us. Help us out. Let the cyclists know that Union County loves them. We're glad they're here, and we're happy. Happy.
Because Kelly's point is right. We want them to have a great experience. So if you have food items you want to bring down, bottled water, juices, soda pop, keychains, trinkets, anything that you can bring it to us at the community booth. We just want to make sure they have a great experience.
Absolutely.
That's the big deal. Now, there's something else that's pretty huge, and it has with Mountain Works Bike Shop, but Mavis is not here. She is back helping a customer, back doing something important. Wait a minute. Here she is.
Here she is.
This is,
The
we
queen.
need like music.
Da,
Birds
da,
to sing,
da,
the
da,
clouds
da, da,
open
da,
up.
da,
and-
da.
Yeah, she's like, shut up and move on.
Okay.
All right, so this is Miss Mavis. She is the owner of Mountain Works Bike Shop. Talk about what you're going to be doing for the cyclists.
Okay, we're going to be doing a raffle, so anybody who comes down the day everybody's arriving, they can put their name in a pot to win this jersey. This jersey will be part of a raffle taken later that day at the Cycle Oregon events. So we hope everybody comes in, sign up. Even if you're not a Cycle Oregon participant, you may participate as well and put your name into the pot. All you have to do is purchase something within the store. And the other thing I want you guys to notice is this lovely table over here. That lovely table over there, we are working very, very hard to get our liquor license so that you can have a beer while you wait for
A beer.
a beer.
A beer.
Just one.
Okay, we got the air beer going.
While you guys are waiting for your flats to be repaired, or your cycling buddies to show up, or after a ride to just hang out and have a great time. So, hope to see you guys down here.
Okay, so let me see this jersey real quick. You have an opportunity to win this jersey. Now, I've got to point something out. This is a large jersey. Oh, wait, this is small. I wear large. I will be entering this raffle because this is a very cool Mountain Works Bike Shop jersey. You could win it by entering the raffle here. You got to come in here to do it the days that Cycle Oregon is here. Maybe, are we going to have beer by then, do you think?
We are trying, it is not a for sure.
We're having it. We're having beer here.
So come
Hopefully.
here and find out
Or-
if you have beer.
Or we'll see. So anyway, lots of good things going on. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Mountain Works Bike Shop, and you guys in the background for helping out. Win your jersey. Come down. Be sure you're here on the 14th of Friday night down at the Pioneer Park to see all the riders and cyclists and say hello and show them the good Union County hospitality they so deserve. So thank you, Grande Live, for shooting the segment. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful afternoon. That wasn't bad. What do you think? Was that all right? Yeah, pretty good. I think maybe she did a good job.
The Grande is not the only part of Union County that Cycle Oregon's visiting. The night of September 11th, cyclists are going to be rolling into the Jewel of the Blue Mountains, Elgin, Oregon, to experience all that city has to offer before continuing the next leg of the journey. It's on Friday, again, that cyclists are returning to Union County to stay the night in the Grande.
Well, there you go. This first episode of the Bob and Kelly Show was brought to you by And that's your weekly Newsish Roundup. Yay! Thanks for tuning in to Grande Live. I'm Will, and this is
Ben Stein.
Ben Stein. I am sitting in the studio with Ben Stein, the Grande Live. Thanks for tuning in. One more big shout out to our sponsors. Thanks for tuning in to Grande Live. We'll see you next week on the weekly Newsish Roundup. Bye!